Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I have people on this landing that if it were law and I were given the instruction to do so, I would hang them. There are people on this landing, if I were given the instruction, I would take away and I would put into a hospital because they should never be on this landing in this prison.
C1 Landing, Strangeways prison, a place where inmates are labelled by their fellow prisoners as beasts.
Beasties.
Well, we call them nonces and beasts, right? And we find out little bits of stories go around. We'll wait a week, and if it's true, they own cons and they sort it out. They have their own code here, their own way of doing things.
Any prisoner known to be on C1 Landing is automatically subject to suspicion, contempt, and if possible, violence. It means they're under constant supervision in case they're attacked.
If they come on C wing or any wing, the lads will remove them themselves. It sounds strange for a con to say this, but the cons will go up to the man and really give that man a beating. May cut him by beating him up, you know, and they'll go run into the PO for protection.
Right, come on, man. Stand on the balance and you can pull in and all.
Morning, sir. 81487 Jackson.
Now then, what did you want to see me about, Jackson?
I've wrote it all down for you, sir.
Prison is a place of conformity to rules, official ones and unofficial ones. They're both just as important for survival. When a prisoner needs protection, as this man does, it is Prison Rule 43A.
How did you come to get the bruise on your face? Who gave you it?
Oh, yeah, the face.
Yeah.
I got one of the names of the 3 men I was swapping artists in the morning. I had to blow on the back of my head and then turn on 3 members stood there and then punch me in the face twice, you know.
Well, all right. Provisionally, I will put you on Rule 43.
What's provisional, sir?
Well, this has got to be approved by the Board of Visitors, but I shall put you on Rule 43A.
They tried to murder me this morning, sir. Carved me up, you know.
Did they?
Yes. I wrote it down there, sir.
Do you know exactly what Rule 43 means?
I do, yes, sir.
Well, you tell me.
I've been out in Walton Jail.
Yeah, well, you tell me, so that I...
43 is protection.
Yeah. And what does it mean, though?
For your own good, for the benefit of other prisoners.
You realise you'll be in a cell with 2 men?
Yes, I am.
And other than the exercises, you may not be out of your cell during the day.
Well, can I say something, sir?
Right,
My mother was 72 last week, you know,
yes.
and I'm due for a visit. She could have come down yesterday, but she was busy, you know. She'd probably be down today, see. Could I have an open visit, sir?
If you're on Rule 43, it will be a closed visit. It's the only way I can
My
protect you.
mother's dead, sir, you know, she's not there to me.
I know your mother is 72, you've told me this. But if you want Rule 43 for protection, I cannot guarantee protection on an open visit. So it will be a closed visit, but I'll give you Rule 43.
I was on protection in Walton for nothing at all, sir, and I went back in the main wing.
You're now in Manchester,
yes.
not in Walton.
Yes,
if
sir.
you want Rule 43, I will grant you it, but you will have closed visits. Is that quite clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, then.
A minority of these prisoners are informers, tobacco barons, as well as inmates who have been threatened. The majority are men whose crimes send a shudder through our society. Every prison has them. They are sex offenders. These men are segregated from the rest of the prison. They exercise in separate areas and at separate times. When they return, it is to their own landing. A former army regular, prison officer Derek Talbot, is dedicated to the ethic of unquestioning obedience. Supervising the untouchables of Strangeways is just part of the job.
Well, sometimes it's hell and other times it's all right. You know, well, I know whenever you're locked up here 23 hours and sometimes 24 hours a day, it's not very nice.
Like, when you come down here, they automatically picture you as a beast, you know, they think, oh, you're in for fiddling with kids, or, you know, young girls or young lads, or, you know, things like that.
Oh, it's true, we're classed as beasts, animals. And there's more animals up the stairs than what there is down here.
Sort of conditions we've got to put up with it down here on C1 is one instance about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was sort of mashing the potatoes. It was on a Friday, and I found a worm inside the potatoes. Now, obviously, that's been placed in by the kitchen lads.
Prison is not a society that fosters tolerance. The sex offender is everybody's scapegoat. In this closed world, their crimes are unacceptable, even to other criminals. Arguments about the nonces, as they are called, frequently take place amongst ordinary cons.
I'd done 16 months in prison, and I come up for my first parole interview, you know, to say whether I've got parole or I haven't got it. And there's 2 sex cases come up with me during 4 years. Been pissing about with kids. Get parole first time.
For the simple reason that
Yes, but they've been,
through hell,
they've been in frigging prison before and they got it.
yeah,
They've got parole before.
but they go through hell in here.
Well,
They spit on the food and
what do you mean they go through hell? They're on 43s, I've been down there, I've watched them.
I know, but they still go through hell.
Do they hell?
If you're banged up 24 hours, take 23
The
hours.
point is, the one that went up with me had been in prison before and he got parole first time.
But taking the landing as a whole,
Yeah.
I don't think and I don't see any reason why they should all be tarred with the same brush. You get the cons coming down the far side of the landing.
Yeah.
You get officers stood there. It's beast, animal. Why? Why?
Yeah, I see, yeah,
You
but I mean,
see?
let's be fair, it's the offences, isn't it?
Right, it's the offences. I could show you
Well,
now.
I said before, I've got no great liking
Right,
for
I
these
can
guys.
show you now proof of at least half a dozen to 10 people on this landing.
Or not down here for a sexual
Right, they
offence.
come into this prison, they can't live with the bully boys up in the main prison.
So they put themselves on Rule 43
So
just
they
to get
put-
down here.
To get down here and get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
But what are we going to call them? We've called them 43As because they've asked for protection. But are they to be classed then as beasts, animals? They get called this.
When you get piss pots on that cell doors and everything, you've got to wipe it up every time and swap it out.
Well, what about me? I mean, it's obvious, I'm not going to say what.
No, well, you've been belted.
You know what
yeah.
I mean.
I know you've been belted, yeah.
Yeah.
What, don't you think that's wrong then? What you were doing?
What do you mean what I've done? I haven't done anything.
No, but having been belted yourself, don't you feel it's a bit rough if you
I
take
mean,
it
what you
on
mentioned
somebody
before
else?
to me.
To them, it's only like an about, isn't it? That's not the same thing. That's entirely different altogether. That.
No,
You've still got the
someone-
bruises to show for it.
Eh?
You've still got the bruises
Yeah,
to
but
show
it's,
for
it's
it.
different, isn't it? It's not the same thing. I mean, they're not meaning to hurt me like a nonce case, like a sex case.
It's not, but the pain's still there, isn't it? You still feel it. It's still making
Yeah.
your bird drag.
The reason why the rest of the prison hates them, I think, mainly it's tradition. This is expected of them. One.
A good 93, 94, 95 maybe % of the prison population, prison staff I mean,
Yeah.
dislikes these blokes just as much as the cons like. Just as the cons
Yeah, but this
dislike them,
doesn't
isn't it?
matter because prison staff are not in this prison to like or dislike. They are here to do a job.
Exactly, and we all do the job,
Right.
don't we? And we all do it the way we see it should be done. But
Yes.
it doesn't mean to say that I've got to like these guys.
You've got to remember this also. Some of the lads on the 43s aren't sex cases at all.
No.
They're in for their own protection.
Oh, the
They're in
governor's
for
put them on.
grassing.
Oh, the governor's put them on.
Or
You only have to get on the wrong side of a tobacco barrel to get on the 43s.
Well, we know all that.
Well then, you know what I mean? And then you go up to the guy and go, ah, beastie, and smack him on the nose, you know what I mean? And the poor guy's done nothing to deserve it. Because you don't see the files, you don't know what he's done when he comes in there. Because he's put behind that door, you presume automatically it's a sex case.
Peace. Follow me.
Glorio.
Well, the reason why I'm in prison is I committed indecent assault on a 9-year-old child, and which I know is, according to people outside, it's a serious offence. But when these things happen, well, we don't think it's a serious offence, but the courts outside takes it as a serious offence. It all depends on what offence you commit. So what my offence was indecent assault, which is I've been at it for years.
What sort of offences have you?
Well, just indecent assault, just touching them, nothing more.
Touching children?
Yes. That's all I said. Never go any farther than that. I can get no feeling. I have no sexual feeling. Whenever it comes on me, or they get too close to me, before I know it, I have my hand on them. I don't plan it. I don't, you know. It just all of a sudden. It just happens all of a sudden. If you try to get what I mean. I know it's very hard for other people to understand what we do, you know. So before you realise what you're doing, it's done.
Comfort me through all this madness. Oh, and on you. Come bring me your chance. In your arms I know I'll find it.
Right, can you whistle?
I've got to learn it sometime.
Yeah, but this is different than just.
Don't blame it on the needle, Francis. Nothing to do with the tools.
If we don't see it better than that, we'll send you home.
The reason I'm here in Strangeways is due to the fact the nature of the offence I committed is a grievous bodily harm, causing grievous bodily harm to a 23-month-old child who belonged to a woman I was living with. He was the youngest of 4. As far as I can sort of pinpoint, the reason the offence was committed is the stress I was living under. You know, a lot of pressures from outside, not being able to find work, conditions I was living under, more or less of a slum type of conditions. I was looking after the 3 youngest children. It's one at 2, one at 4, and one at 7. And the one at 2 started crying. I tried consoling him, giving him a bottle, but unfortunately there was nothing to put in the bottle, and it was just continuing, and unfortunately I just lost control of my temper, and I know it sounds bad, but it's more or less as though he was a scapegoat for, for something for me to take it out on,
What happened?
Well, I just sort of I sort of felt I couldn't take any more, like, you know, and I just started striking out with a clenched fist. And, you know, I can't honestly say how many times I hit him. But as far as the bruising goes, you know, it could have been any number of times, you know. But when I seen the psychiatrist in Risley, he told me if it had gone any longer, you know, I could have been facing a murder charge. As soon as the mother come up, you know, I told her all about it. She, you know, obviously, you know, she had a deep feeling for me, you know, and you know, it's a very strong relationship, and she wanted to just sort of hide it, you know, and try and work out, you know, some way out of it. But I told her straight away, you know, to phone an ambulance and sort of ring up the police. A inspector from the CID, he come down into the charge office. He asked me to take my glasses off, and he asked me how old the child was connected with the offence. And when I told him he was 23 months old, he just started, you know, he set about thumping me. You know, this lasted for about 3 or 4 minutes. Then I was put into the cell. That's in Risley on remand for about 4 months. Then eventually I was sentenced in July of last year.
How much?
2 years, 4 months.
It is much easier to condemn the sex offender in our society than to understand or cure him. There are no simple solutions to long-standing problems of neglect, inadequacy, obsession, least of all in the human warehouse that is Strangeways, where gross overcrowding places impossible demands on welfare and psychiatric services. Sex offenders, like other prisoners, are eligible for early release, that special freedom on license, known as parole. Strangeways Local Review Committee meet here to decide whether a prisoner can be trusted to begin his life again in the community. The committee is made up of a member of the Board of Visitors, an assistant governor, a probation officer, and 2 independent members. A prisoner is not allowed to come and state his case in person. He will have made a written plea and been interviewed by a committee member. A portrait of the offender is supposed to emerge from these written reports. The board will now consider whether to release a man convicted of a serious sexual assault on a boy.
He has a history which shows a personality disturbance, including sexual problems, going back to his teenage experiences in approved school many years ago. He has difficulties in sustaining personal relationships and has suicidal tendencies under extreme pressure. His present offence is an extremely violent and serious one, but it is out of character with his previous criminal record, and perhaps would reflect on the severe personal crisis, socially and financially, which he was undergoing at the time of its commission. Since his stay in Manchester prison, however, he has seen Dr. Campbell on 5 separate occasions. In Dr. Campbell's opinion, the prisoner seems well motivated for the behaviour therapy and outpatient psychotherapy which Dr. Campbell would be willing to give him and which is not available in Manchester prison. But it did seem to me that prison was not the place for him. Community must be protected, of course, but that if he is agreeable and Dr. Campbell is agreeable, it would seem the sooner he starts his treatment, the better.
So you're saying yes, in fact?
I am saying yes on condition that it is that he continues with his medical treatment or has further medical treatment. That must be a condition, otherwise he isn't safe to be out.
If you look at Dr. Campbell's letter, in his last sentence, he says that if this chap were to be paroled, he would not present, or he wouldn't be likely to present, a serious risk to the community. And in particular, he wouldn't present a serious risk to boys.
I mean, undoubtedly at the moment, he is a danger, as he is at the moment. But if he stays in prison, he is not going to get the treatment that he needs.
Mr. Pascoe,
Well, I would point, like to stress that this is a serious sexual offence against a child. I'd also point out that in here, the prisoner's been on Rule 43 for his own protection and at his own request, which means he doesn't get a lot of chance to develop socially with other prisoners, and that means that he can stand still in many ways. The point about treatment, well, he is receiving some kind of treatment in here. The SMO indicates that he is being seen by he's under psychiatric review regularly. So to some extent, whatever treatment is lined up for him on the outside could happen anyway, irrespective of whether he gets parole or not. And I'd also like to say that treatment for sex offenders is a very haphazard business. I wouldn't like to bet one penny on successful treatment for a sex offender.
I appreciate all that you say, but find that the great difficulty for us is whether we accept the things that Dr. Campbell says, that although you say he's receiving psychiatric treatment here, that it isn't what he should be having. It is not available to him in Manchester Prison. So what you're saying, Mr. Pascoe, is that he could get along with whatever psychiatry he's having at the moment until such times as he comes out on a shorter licence, and then let Dr. Campbell have him.
I suppose what I'm saying is that the only absolutes are that if you keep him in for another 12 months, the world is safe for another 12 months.
Right.
The treatment is a vague thing. It may work, it may not. Different types of treatment. He's having one kind of treatment in here. We have an expert who says that perhaps another type of treatment might work. The other clear factor is that the older you get, to put it crudely, the less sexual you get.
I don't think I go along with all that Mr. Pascoe is saying about... I'm not with him on his reservations altogether. I think that I would be reasonably happy with this man getting parole if I felt that the possible sources of further stress to him were mitigated, and we were sure they were going to be mitigated.
I think it's a very, very difficult thing for us to decide, since we are medical people, and the thing that we have to do is to protect the community. That's really our first job.
It's one of our jobs.
One of our jobs, yes, but especially little boys. You know, I find it very, very hard.
Well, I do think it's decision time.
It is decision time.
And I do think we've actually got to make our minds up.
Yes, following on what was said about the possible difficulties around the area of employment and the pressure on him that might produce, I think I would stick with my notion that he ought to be in some sort of protective environment, if only some form of hostel.
But you're saying
And then,
yes, subject
and then
to
I'll
license
say
plate.
yes.
Yes, subject to hostel.
I think I would go along with the majority decision, provided that he lives in the hostel. And he has a good contact with the probation service, so they would help him with a job, presumably.
And you're saying yes,
I
Mr.
would
Marshall.
agree with that, yeah.
How do you stand now, Mr. Pascoe?
In a minority of one, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, that bit I'd worked out. But how do you stand? I mean, you're going for a minority report. You feel strongly enough to say that, in your view, this is a case where you can't agree with the majority on the board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Fine.
The committee found 3-1 in favour of parole. But in such serious cases, the parole board will make the final decision.
It's over. Parliament, Billy, Parliament.
Good stuff. Stick it in your chest. Stick to someone else as well.
In prison, you have to live with strangers. You have to share a living, eating, breathing space of 12 feet by 8 and try to adapt to other convicted men.
Full name and number to the Governor, address the Governor and servant.
G3, G344, sir.
Yes, Pearson, what is your application?
To go on Rule 43A, sir.
Why?
I've been threatened from people in the jail up on the wing, sir.
Why have they threatened you?
One says that I went and had intercourse with his wife and raped her.
Bob gains the protection of Rule 43A, but tensions inevitably arise when three men are locked in a cell for most of the day and night, especially where sexual relations are concerned. These tensions come to a head 10 days later.
We argue like cat and dog on here, don't we?
Yeah, but it's basically over, I want to go with Paul, innit?
Yeah.
And you won't let us.
Well, mine's going to be thinking about what you're two are up to, and in day 4, I don't know.
Because probably it might turn you on.
It won't turn me on, but it might turn me that way.
Steve is serving 9 months for shoplifting. Bob is serving 9 months for trespass and criminal damage.
Yeah, but it's not like
Paul is serving 6 months for
all
theft.
three of you together in the same school.
Why not? You've had 2 birds at once.
About more
That's
than-
good enough for the goose, is good enough for
For the gander, I'll agree with you on that, but I'm not the
And
gander.
because you're not getting it in here, it's hard luck. You know, my heart bleeds for you.
It does
But
for me,
there's no need to stop anybody else having it off, is there?
Well,
Or having
what-
a bit of affection.
Well, what happens if a
And
school-
making the bird go easy.
What happens? No, look,
You're blocking us having a relationship. Never mind the sex bit. That comes after it, right? But from
I'm not
building up a
blocking you having your
relationship.
relationship, but with the sex bitches,
Yeah,
I'm
but
stopping it.
we know we're tense enough to realise we can only go so far. If I climb on his bed and mess about with him, right, I can only go so far.
And what do you mean
Right.
you can only go so far?
Well, I can't I? I can't get on top of him and like about like I would normally, like you would with a woman outside. It's the same
You
thing,
have to
isn't
be
it?
a
I'm under
cracker,
the same
can't I?
pressure, the same sex urges. And don't forget, sex is the basic urge of man being on this earth. Is it not? To get his end away and as often as he can.
There's 2 gays in here and 1 straight guy. Now, there could be 3 gay people in here, and they could lead a load of jealousy.
Exactly.
I disagree. In the last sentence I did, which was 3 months, I was lucky enough to get in with 2 other lads that were having it off with me. And there were a bit of difficulty, but we were all at it, and we were all having a relationship.
I know that. That were 3 of you. You're all in the same table. You're all tied in the same in the boat.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But we're not trying to bring you into our relationship.
No, but it's gonna.
That is
look.
an entirely different relationship than him talking to you or him discussing other things with you, isn't it? It's between me and him. It's a sex relationship. The reason Rule 43 was brought out is for sexual offenders.
Exactly.
Not for people who've got a backer or they've been shouting their mouth off up there and they've got 3 or 4 guys on them.
Well, that's their
It's
fault.
for people who were in for sex offences because
Exactly.
so many were getting battered in the past.
I can agree with you
That's
on that.
right. And people like you and Alan and that forget that this is why 43 was brought out. Not to cater for people
but
like
hang
you
on.
who dislike
All right, then.
gays or
So you're
dislike
trying to tell me that
child
40s were
assault.
brought out for that cry, yeah? Why are you down here?
I'm down here because I've been in for a sex offence before. That's
Yeah, fair enough, but that's long gone past. But will they let you forget it
No, 'cause
upstairs?
they haven't the intelligence.
Exactly. What's
the
that
same-
thing, Sir Paul, about this Craig? Come on.
Well, take for instance, there's at least 26 cases down here.
I know this because we counted them all the down the yard, if you remember. Because I can suss them out, like the way they walk, the way they talk, and everything, you know.
But on the one hand, you say you're not interested.
I'm not
you
interested.
go to the trouble of walking round the yard and picking out who's gay and who's not. Why don't you
I'm
accept
just-
people as they are?
I do accept them as they are. I don't give a damn
You
what they're in
take all
for.
that trouble to go round the yard. Don't forget you only get half an hour's exercise, and you probably wasted a quarter of an hour of it weighing up who's queer and who's not. You mix with them, don't you? You go to the clubs.
Because I tell you why I mix with a lot of gays, because the gays are good company, in one respect. But sexually, they're not,
Well, if
where
they're
I'm
good
concerned.
company, why not have a little bit of leeway or understanding between us two?
I've got a bit
if
of
they're
a
such
leeway.
good people.
I've told you. Best time for you two to get on with it is Friday, when that film's on out there.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like asking you to wait for every Friday to have a woman. It's stupid. When you're 24
Listen,
hours
once you've
with
had
a
a
girl.
taste of the cock, man, you'll wait until you get another chance.
No, what?
Yes, that's it. I've got you on that point, haven't I? You will, and you'll know you will.
Not when there's 26 on the landing
Hang
just
on.
waiting for it.
Daddy, how's that feel about him?
I don't
Come on,
know
don't
really,
stop.
because I can control myself.
Well, you say you can control yourself, but he says you can't.
You've got to say that because he's taught you into saying that.
I haven't talked you into saying that at all.
Too frank,
Oh.
though. What are you telling me?
No, not really.
Oh, thanks a lot. Making me sound alright. Fucking hard,
This
Chris.
is the
No,
basic of it.
It's like when I'm on the outside.
You're saying it as though I'm the instigator of this. Well, Paul's just as much the instigator as me.
I'm more
It wasn't me
innocent.
diving into his bed and taking advantage of him,
I'm
was
more
it?
innocent.
Oh, don't
because
give me
I-
that crap, Paul.
All
You're
right.
23, man.
Just let's knock it
The
down.
thing is, if
How
you
did
move out, are you going to spread rumours and to your mates?
Have I spread rumours so far?
No, but
How many people that's not gay down here come to me and ask me, is he gay? And I've turned around and called him a bleeding lie and
It's
everything.
easy to say no, but I mean, say you were stuck in another cell.
Look, my name's
would you
not
be
Kerrigan.
thinking of us two?
Would I, heck?
Thinking.
Would I, heck? I've got my own problems. I've got my wife.
Now, what is the problem?
We just don't get on, you know. It's a clash of personalities more than anything.
Between who? You two?
Just, you know, they were in before me, like, they get on well together.
Yeah.
I get on well with the other lad reasonably well, but it's just us
So you
two,
don't get on with
so-
Pearson? Pearson
No,
don't
neither
get on with
do I,
you?
mate.
Have I ever been any bother
I
down
think
here,
I'm
Mr.
the odd
Silver?
one out, you know, so it's best if I move in instead of one of them, because it only leaves the
It's
trouble.
building up and building up this tension. It's crack up. If not, I'll crack up. And if I crack up, I'll
I'm
finish up
only
in
doing a
choke.
short time, he's not got so long left to do.
This is a case with him. See, I'm not saying nothing about what it is unless he opens his mouth. If he opens his mouth, I'll tell you, but I can't do nothing about that. I've only got a short time, so I want to get the hell out of here, because this sentence, I'll tell you, this bitch now has killed me.
How much longer have you got to do?
4 months, 20 days.
You stand on your head, lad.
I know. But at
Right.
the moment, with the pressure I've got on me, it's bad news.
All right. Now. All right, mate, you nip back inside here for a minute. So what's your problem?
I don't whether you know or not, but he's an homosexual.
Yeah.
You know that Paul's an homosexual,
Yeah.
isn't he? Well, he plays the beach, right? And after being in here 6 hours, he tried to get Paul into bed. And my father woke him up, and I can't stand it. I don't mind, I don't give a shit what they're in for or what they're in, as you know that yourself.
Yeah.
But I can't be in the same pub when it's happening.
Fair enough, all right. Put you back in now. You'll stay in there for another hour, right?
Yeah.
At the end of another hour, I'll have sorted out about moving somebody else, and I'll move you across.
Into what? Into Alan's cell?
I'm not saying you'll go in there.
Well,
No,
we'll better have to
you'll
see
go
that.
where, yeah, but you'll go where I want to put
Yeah,
you.
I
It's
know
as
that.
simple
I
as that. You
understand
know
that.
this, all
If
right?
we can I find 2 straights?
You're
It's
going
gonna
to
be hard. It's
you're
gonna
going to
be
be
hard.
pushed, lad, down here, aren't you?
I know.
I'm going to say find 2 straights. Let me know where they are, mate. All right. Okay, we'll put you back in and we'll fix you up and give it an hour. All right.
Okay.
There you go. You're practicing the trade again, lad. Aren't you?
No, it's creating jealousy, that's all. Not for the same reasons, obviously.
No. I don't know what I'm going to do with you.
I've been down here 3 times. I never caused bother to anybody. I'm one of the quietest blokes in the landing.
No, it's not. Aye, but that's quite a scene. It's like a chap with a bomb in his hand, isn't it? You know, he throws the bomb, he doesn't make a sound, but the bomb doesn't half make a racket, doesn't it? Everything ricochets off you, lad. I'll move him out. But someone else will have to come in here. Can I push for space?
Move
right?
him out.
Hmm?
Move him out. You know, I'm not trying to tell you his job, but I think you're best moving me out, because he'll be worried about the other kid, won't he?
No.
You know.
This is very nice of you, you know, but let me worry about these problems, you know. That's what I get paid for. Anyhow, we'll move him out. Fit him in somewhere else and we'll get somebody else in there with you, all right? And then, obviously, as you must appreciate, I've got to see my superiors and try and get you sorted out. Whether you're either in a bunk on your own where you can get on with nobody but yourself, all right? Anyhow, back in you go, and inside an hour, we'll have him sorted out, and we should have a nice little peaceful life left, all right? There you go. Pack your kit.
Get us that battery, then.
Derek Talbot's response to the problem is to break the triangle. First Bob and then Steve will be moved to different cells.
I've been to see the chief about it. As you can see, he's made a few notations on the bottom there. But I would be grateful if I could get him off the landing now.
We've got a few now. What have we got on here? Has he filled the necessary forms in?
He's not filled a thing yet. We're talking about who now, sir? We're talking about this chap?
Yeah.
Derek Talbot has decided that the answer to Steve's homosexuality is to isolate him on the block, Strangeways punishment landing.
Yeah, bring him in. Put him
Right, I'll get his king. I'll bring him straight across, sir.
Okay, I'll get the phone.
Tomorrow morning, sir, from the chief, please could we have the paper and his records on the table for the governor when he comes and does adjudication, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, sir?
Yeah, bring him in now.
Right, sir, thank you. Mate, pack your kit, lad. You're moving.
Yeah, I get that.
You got everything?
I think so.
Right, okay. Out you come, lad. Right, now, in a minute, now listen. Going to what went on this morning, right? We're both aware of what's going on. I'm going to have you put onto D1. You're better off there on your own, and that's where you'll stay until the governor decides what to do with you first thing in the morning. Understand?
What, am I on report, sir?
No, you are not. You are under no disciplinary action at all.
I don't
you
blame
move
you,
for your
sir.
own good. All right? Yeah. OK, as long as you understand what's happening to you, that's all I'm concerned about, lad. Right, come on. Lead the way.
Steve is now being taken to his cell on the punishment block.
Hold on, sir. Right, sir. I've seen the SO about it. Yeah, and he knows he's coming on. OK. There's his cell card. Right, well.
25.
Now, do you want to keep that? Because
Yeah,
that's
we'll
the
keep
authority, because he's got it in the chief. OK, sir?
Yeah, lad.
Right.
Say it up here.
25.
Now, as I said, when my clairvoyance come, I'd say this, it's a guess. The bird is a bit better looking than the wife.
That's right.
I'm telling you. I'm not daft. You know, a lot of people think I'm stupid, I don't know why. I want to tell it to if I am, but that's beside the point. But they were
Yeah, I'll
saying...
tell you that. Reason that come about, reason me having that affair came about, well, because wife went off sex after she had second baby, right?
They all do. They all
Right.
do, kid, yeah.
I'm just a scapegoat for his own problems outside. I'm the one that's caught for it, unluckily. It could have been anybody else in the cell. But, you know, the guys down there will tell you he's very unpopular. Why? Why was there a vacancy in his cell when I came down if everybody wanted to get in with him if he was so popular? They don't. I don't know what to say. I'm shattered, to be honest.
I never really had any bad news, but I think if I did, I would be not suicidal, but I would, if I could find a way to get out of wherever I was, I certainly would, you know.
Yeah.
I could understand if I'd been shafting him, but I haven't. And that's the God's honest truth. I'm willing to have a test, a medical test to prove that, or he would be. You know, this sex and sex, as you know. Yeah. That lad's a bag of nerves, Paul. You watch him eating and anything, he's like that. Because of that idiot. Not because of me. Say this is not punishment, but you can't lie down on your bed, can you? So.
Steve was to spend the next 3 months, the remainder of his sentence, isolated in his punishment cell on the block.